Did you have door open, close in this house, if you recall?
I have the safety door and then the main door, or the screen door and then the main wooden door.
Okay.
Um,
Was the, do you know if the wooden door was open or closed?
It was, open.
Okay.
So it was just the,
Like screen door sort of
screen
thing?
door.
Okay. Did you ever see the defendant enter your apartment, or was he only shooting from the porch?
Only shooting from the porch.
Okay. But he was shooting from the porch into your apartment?
Yes.
Okay.
But and again, I'm sorry, but the porch is, I mean, there's a step porch house.
Right.
So he's like right on the porch. You're shooting in,
Yes.
shooting into the house.
Yes.
What's in the front part of your house? I mean, like what rooms?
When you walk in, you're right in the living room.
Got it.
2 steps from the living room because it has small little flooring area in the front.
Got it.
But if you are standing on my porch, you can see right into my living room.
Okay. And is there a window in the front?
Yes.
Of some type, right?
Yes.
Is he shooting through that window or?
Well, the screen door, yes, he didn't open the door, just shot through the screen door, so the glass broke.
Okay.
So he didn't open the door to shoot inside, he just shot from the porch and the glass broke and continued to shoot in the house.
Do you know how many times he shot into the house?
No.
Okay. And I think you, and Council, you may get to this, but I just want to make sure I'm clear on this. You said there were 2 people in the house?
Yes.
Patrick
And my daughter.
and your daughter. How old's your daughter?
9.
Do you know where they are at that moment?
I knew that my daughter was in her room at the time that I stepped outside.
And where is that in proximity to, say, the living
Um, it's a small apartment, so it's like four steps. To her.
down a hallway?
Yeah,
And then
it's a
it-
small hallway, very small.
Okay. And where was Patrick?
At the time, before I stepped outside, he was sitting on the couch.
In the living room.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Council.
So if you were to walk into your apartment through that front door, you're basically in the living room.
Yes.
Does the living room kind of open up to your left or to your right as you walk in the apartment?
To my left.
Okay. And then if I keep walking straight, is the hallway then go off to the right? Is that how the layout goes?
If you walk straight, the hallway goes to the right, to the bathroom.
Okay. And then your daughter's bedroom is down that hallway to the right.
Yes, the bathroom is to the right. You walk up one more, her room is to the right as well.
Okay. So the defendant is on the front porch shooting the rifle through this kind of storm door, safety door. Do you hear glass breaking? Or you saw glass broken? Okay. Shooting through that door into the living room.
Yes.
Okay. At the time he's doing that, how close are his feet to the location of where you are collapsed on the porch?
Repeat that.
You're collapsed on the front porch. Is he to your left?
To my right.
He's to your right. Okay. How far away from you is the defendant when he's shooting into the living room?
My head is right by his feet.
So a foot or 2, are we talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, again, I'm sorry, but again, when you say you're collapsed on the porch, are you face down? So your right is?
I'm collapsed, and so my breast is on the cement, and I am looking to the right.
To the right, okay. So I just wanted to figure out which was, okay, go ahead.
You don't know how many times he fired into the apartment, I believe is your testimony, is that correct?
Right, I don't know.
Okay. At some point, he stopped shooting into the living room though, right?
Yes.
And then what happens?
He stopped shooting and immediately, starts looking for the keys to leave.
Is he in your apartment?
No,
Okay. Is he still on the porch when he's looking for his keys to leave? Like, what, tell me.
after he stopped shooting, he's telling the girlfriend to look for the keys. So they're looking in my front lawn, like my front porch of where I live.
So is the defendant thinks that the keys to his car are somewhere around the front porch of your,
I don't think they knew where they were.
okay. At some point, does the defendant get into a car and flee the scene?
Yes,
Okay. Did you see that happen, hear that happen, or tell me,
yes,
which one?
I seen and I heard.
Okay. The whole time, are you still on your front porch?
Ooh, I'm sorry. I go in, I see Sean on the ground. I grab my phone, I hop out of the window. The window is broke, so I go in, I grab my cell phone. I see my cousin, I go out the front.
And I'm gonna just stop you real quick. The window that you're talking about, is that the window in the living room or the window in the storm door?
The storm door.
Okay, so you don't open the door, but you step through the storm door when,
Yeah,
okay,
I get my phone, I go back out of the door the same way I walked in. I don't know why, but, and then I called my uncle, they were gone, before I called my uncle. So I was.
When you say they were gone, who are you?
The names, the
Yep.
defendant and the
Okay.
girl that he was with.
Yep, that's fine.
at this point, they've taken off,
Yes,
okay. You go in, you grab your phone, you call your uncle,
yes,
okay, and at some point, did you call the police?
no,
Okay, did someone else call police, or do you know?
my daughter did.
Your daughter did? Okay. What can you tell me about Sean's condition as he is laying in your living room?
He goes back,
Could you see any injuries on him?
I didn't look,
Okay. Was he talking, trying to talk to you, do anything at all? Okay. You go back. Do you then exit your apartment again?
yes,
Okay. And at some point, did the police arrive?
yes.
About how long? Do you have any idea?
I called my uncle, I believe they were there within 5 minutes.
Okay. And did you get your daughter out or
No,
okay. Who got your daughter out of the apartment? No?
police officer,
Okay.
Where was she?
she was in her room. I don't know where she was in her room, but she was in her room.
And that's where she called the police from?
Yes. I was yelling outside to call the police, so I think when she heard me say that, she just did it.
Okay, all right. So you don't think she ever came out of her room,
I don't think so.
but you're not sure?
I'm not sure.
So the police show up. Do they start giving you medical care for your injuries?
Tourniquet on my leg.
Okay. And what is have you recovered from that gunshot wound in your leg?
I'm fully recoverable.
Physically?
Yes.
Okay. At any point in time, did you see Sean Cameron with anything in his hands? Any sort of weapon, anything like that?
He had a pair of shoes in his hand.
And when you saw him in your living room, he didn't have a gun in his hand or anything like that?
No,
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
You may.
I have no further questions for this.
All right, I just had one other thing. I'm just trying to figure out the location. Your daughter's, when you go in, your daughter's in her room. Do you know where Patrick is? You know, okay, that's fair. That's fine. All right.
You want me to leave this on? Okay.
No,
Is it okay if I unhook?
I don't need it unless.
Yo, yeah, you can upload it. I just,
Your court's clear on that, right?
yes, I am.
I don't need it.
Okay.
Good morning, Ms. Richardson. You said,
And did you need a break? Or you okay?
sorry,
that's one of my things real quick.
Okay.
please take your time.
Go on.
Thank you, Judge. I wasn't clear. You said, Mr. Cameron, I think you described him as a friend and a relative, I believe you
Yes.
said. Can you expand on that? What do you mean by that?
We were raised together,
Okay,
with the same relatives.
okay, all right. And you also said that he doesn't live in that apartment complex, correct? He lives somewhere else?
Correct.
Okay. And would he frequent that area on a regular basis?
To visit me, yes.
Okay, is that the only reason?
No,
What other reasons would he be there?
I had a girlfriend,
Okay. And did she live in that apartment complex?
yes,
Okay. Was it the girl that was the passenger in the car or was it somebody else?
somebody else.
Okay. Do you know if he had any relationship with the woman in the car, the passenger in the vehicle, the defendant's vehicle?
No relation.
Okay. Now, did she live sorry, I shouldn't say girlfriend, that he had a lady friend. Was it his girlfriend or was it another kind of relationship? And did you know that woman in that general area where you lived? Okay.
She lived
Do you know, okay, did she live close to yours or farther away or
further away,
like how far approximately?
5-minute walk.
Okay. All right. Mr. Cameron was there. Sorry, strike that. When Mr. Cameron first arrived, did you see him arrive or did you know he was there when he called you out of the house?
I knew he was there, well, I seen his vehicle outside.
Okay.
That's how I knew he was in the car.
Okay. When you saw his vehicle outside, was he in the vehicle or did you not see him in the vehicle?
I didn't see him in the vehicle.
Okay. And he was parked across from your apartment? Is that correct? Okay. When did you first see Mr. Cameron?
He came in my front door.
Okay, not when he called you outside first?
Yeah, that's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
the time he came and called me outside. That's when I seen him physically.
Okay. And he was on your porch when he called outside or was he?
He opened security door and asked me to come outside.
Okay. And did he specify why or just say come outside?
No, just said, come outside.
And you did, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did you hear before he said come outside, did you hear his voice outside talking to anybody, arguing with anybody or no?
Did not hear any argument.
Okay. Did you wait argument between Mr. Cameron and my client, Mr. Pickett?
Yes, came to the parking lot.
Okay, so when you came out, you said you came to your door to have you come outside. When you came outside, was he still at your door or was he somewhere else?
He was already back at the defendant's or the girlfriend's vehicle.
Okay, and you say back at the vehicle, so this appeared to be an argument that had been going on for a minute before you came out?
Yes.
Okay. And did you hear the substance of the argument or what it was about?
Bits and pieces, yes.
Okay. Can you, without specifying the word, did you get you said it was, first of all, you described it as,
The tone of the argument was more so, He was feeling like somebody was lying to him,
Okay,
and the tone was more so like I needed to be the one to verify the lie. That was the tone.
okay. And when you say he was being lied to, you mean Mr. Cameron, is that correct?
Whatever Sean and the defendant was talking about, he felt like he was being lied to.
Right, I'm just specifying the person. You're talking about Sean felt like he was being lied to, not not Mr. Pickett. Okay,
Sean.
thank you. Okay. Do you know what about or no? Okay. Now, when this, could you describe Mr. Cameron size? How tall is he?
He is 5'8", 5'9", maybe 200 pounds.
Okay. And how old, what was he?
37.
Okay,
She asked to go lay down. I told her I'd let her know when the magistrate was ready to specifically.
We can wait until
Okay.
right before, we'll just take 1 minute.
Okay,
Sound good?
all right,
Yeah.
sounds good. Okay,
All
I'm
right, thanks.
gonna put you back in the waiting room. I don't have any files yet, so I'll put you back in the waiting room for a minute.
All right, thanks.
okay. So he had,
Yes.
okay. Did you see him exit the vehicle?
When somebody is sitting down in their driver's seat and they stand up, that's what I seen.
You saw him get,
See him get out of the driver's seat and stand up.
okay. Did you see him when he did that? Did you see it with a weapon or no?
Yes.
Okay. And you described it as a rifle, I believe. I think you call it an 8.
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, that's when Mr. Cameron went toward your apartment?
That is the run towards my apartment because I was running.
Okay, so your back was to the scene at that point?
Yes, I instantly turned and started running
Okay, you're,
my apartment.
and there was, at this time, when you started running to your apartment, there was no interaction between you and my client, correct? There was no words spoken or anything like that? Okay. And up till that point, you had no issue with him whatsoever?
No.
Now, you said at some point you, somebody called the police. I think you said your daughter called the police. Is that correct? You found out later that your daughter
Yes.
called the police? Okay. And you said you called, she called or you called your uncle, I believe you just, who's your uncle? Is that a police officer or
That's
who's Roger Brown?
my uncle.
I know, is he affiliated with the police? That's my question. Oh, okay. Did he come to the scene? Your uncle?
He was on the scene.
Oh.
He was unable to pull up to my door because the police were there before he showed up.
Okay. And did you, backing up a little bit, did you, you said that Mr. Cameron thought he was being lied to. Do you know what specifically he was being lied to about, if you know? Okay. Have you ever known Mr. Cameron to carry a weapon?
No.
Nothing further.
Can you redirect?
Not based on my comment.
All right. Yeah, thank you. You may step down. May call your next witness.
People call Detective Sawyer.
Sir, please come forward to be sworn.
Raise your right hand. Solemnly swear to firm testimony about to give be the truth, the whole truth, have a seat. State, spell your first and last name for the record, please.
And it's Aaron Sawyering, AARONSOYRIN.
May inquire.
Thank you and good morning, Detective. Detective, how are you employed? Currently employed as a detective with the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Been so for about a year and 11 months. Prior to that, I was a deputy with the Washington County Sheriff's Office. And were you still a detective earlier this year on or about May 20th of 2024? That's correct. All right. And specifically drawing your attention to that day, were you ever called to 93 Russell Court in Ypsilanti, Michigan? Yes, it's called a processing. All right. And when you say processing the scene, I guess let me back up. What were you assisting with at the time? So I was contacted regarding a homicide investigation that occurred at 93 Russell Court. Part of my assignment out there with the team of detectives was to assist with processing the scene for evidence. And when you say processing the scene for evidence, what does that process look like? So that's going to include documentation through photographs, identifying items of evidence, including blood, physical evidence, swatted for DNA, plates, and things like that. And when you were there, were you the first one to arrive on scene, or who was there when you arrived? So on my arrival, the scene had already been taped off. It was blocked off by crime scene tape and multiple patrol vehicles. I believe it was Detective Yeager, Detective Morrison, Detective Lieutenant Peltier were on scene, as well as several road patrol deputies. Right. And when you arrived, can you just describe the scene briefly as you observed it when you arrived? Yeah, so when I arrived on scene, 93 Russell Court is at the far north end of the complex on Russell Boulevard, I believe it was. It's going to be the parking, there's going to be a parking lot on either side of the roadway. The parking lot would be on the east side of the street. Again, there's crime scene tape blocking off the parking lot, as well as some patrol vehicles. Access was not allowed by people not authorized to be in the scene. There was a vehicle forward parked in front of 75 Russell Court. I believe that was a gray Ford C-Max, and I believe it was registered. I don't recall who it was registered. I believe it may have been the C. Okay. You say that the parking lot was taped off. Did you do an investigation of the parking lot? I did process the parking lot for evidence as well. And did you find any evidence related to this investigation that you thought pertinent? Yes. So in the parking lot were 3 fired cartridge casings. They're 7.62 rounds. What does that mean exactly? It's a particular caliber of ammunition. It's commonly used in a rifle or like a AK style pistol. All right. Are you familiar with what a Draco is? I am. Is a Draco capable of firing a 7.62 cartridge? Okay. And you said that there were 3 recovered casings in the parking lot, correct? Correct. There were 3 fired cartridge casings in the parking lot itself. There was an additional fired cartridge casing, which was 7.62 caliber on a grassy area near 75 Russell Court. Okay. And when you say casings, this might seem like an obvious question, but how do you know that those shells were fired? So if you look at the anatomy of a bullet or live ammunition, there's going to be the actual slug of the bullet that's at the point, if you will. There's going to be a powder inside the bullet, which is going to be the propellant, as well as a primer.
Good morning.
All right, good morning. Are we ready on Mr. Reynolds to walk in?
We are, yeah, we are.
Okay.
And Your Honor, just wanted to let you know that I'm just here to interview the interpreter case.
Okay. So while we're doing these other cases of walk-in in Wayne County, why don't we try to get the do you want them on camera 4 maybe? Would that work?
That works, yes. Mr. Hoffman.
Those and Johnson from the out counties too.
We also have 2 out counties, Your Honor.
Okay. And DDC, are you there on camera 4 or not quite? Camera 3. I hear you over there. And DDC, how are you today? All right. All right, you can come back up. And your name for the record?
Ashley Reynolds.
Thank you. This will be case 24045987, AGK State of Michigan versus Ashley Aspen Reynolds, counsel. Anyone at all?
Yes, Your Honor. Brandenburg on behalf of Ashley Reynolds, my client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights and will stand mute.
You're not guilty plea on your client's behalf, as to bond.
Master Bond, Your Honor, 41-year-old lifelong resident of Michigan, non-assaulted, walked himself in, respectfully asked this court for a personal bond.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
is this
sir.
an AG case by chance?
Yes, it's an AG case.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Ragdon, that was mine. It's an AG case.
Sorry, Ms. Douglas. Thank you.
All right. All right, sir, while this case is pending, you are not to have any contact with any Detroit casino. You understand that?
Yes.
Court will set bond at $500 personal. Your next court date is the pre-trial on December 12 with Judge Bryant here in 36th District Court. If you have a seat, we'll get you some paperwork. Thank you. All right. Gentlemen at Wayne County, what's your name, sir? Yeah, you.
Romeo, right?
Thank you. One moment. Hey, DDC. All right, Mr. Wright, we've got some traffic tickets we're going to deal with first, where you missed some court dates. When you missed those dates, a judge issued an arrest warrant for you. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, the court will provide one for you. Do you understand those rights, sir?
Yes, I do. Traffic tickets?
Yeah. I'm sorry. What'd you say, sir?
You said traffic tickets?
Yeah, some old traffic tickets we're going to deal with first before we get to your main case. Give me 1 second. I'll let you know what they are.
I gotta be old. I gotta be really old.
First ticket is ticket number P 1190319 with charges of driving while license suspended and no insurance misdemeanor. Ticket P 1268236 loitering. P 1608041 disorderly public intoxication. P 1616870 trespassing. U 698142124 trespassing, and U 698142224 failure to leash a dog. These are all misdemeanor charges, maximum penalty. Failure to have a dog on a leash, apparently. This was back in allegedly, let's see, June 18, 2024, 10 p.m., 7700 West McNichols. Romel Wright refused to put a leash on his white pit bull after being advised by officers. Anyhow, sir, these are all misdemeanor charges. Maximum penalty you face on each is up to 93 days in jail and or $500 fine. I'm going to set aside the arrest warrants, enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, and give you a personal bond. Your next court date for these tickets is a pretrial on January 6th, 2025 in front of Judge Kenneth King here in 36th District Court. Now your other case today is case 24045909, State of Michigan versus Romel Devon Wright. Counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Samuel A. Ragland, P23-157 on behalf of the people.
And good morning, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Romel Wright. My client waived his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
And not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond. Anyone at all? Oh, you're muted, Mr. Ragnar.
I apologize, Your Honor. Sorry. People are asking for a $10,000, 10% cash bond. If he's able to post bond, we're asking for a tether with home arrest. He's currently facing 8 charges in district court for felony weapons possessions and also controlled substances. But this is a very assaultive matter, Your Honor, where this defendant followed the complaining witness from the bus stop into this convenience store. And the defendant blocked his interest to go to work, to punch in, to go behind the counter. With that, he said, let's fight, and he hits the complaining witness in the nose. He continued to assault him while he was there. And when checking, he is, and I couldn't find out where, but he is currently on a Wayne County tether under supervised release. And I'm not, it may be with the 8 charges that were from November 7th of 2024. So pursuant to 765, Your Honor, we're going to ask for a cash bond of $10,000, 10% tether home arrest. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Respectfully, lives with his mother and grandmother, Your Honor. Indicates to us that he does carpentry, does very, very varied hours. He's in school trying to better his life in college. And respectfully, we're going to ask for a personal bond in this matter. I'm not sure. I don't believe I heard that he was out on a personal bond, in which this court may be inclined to have to give Mr. Wright cash bond.
He is on a personal bond. I'm sorry, Mr. Bird. Sorry.
Well, right now, I believe we have remand in the Wayne County Jail. But respectfully, that's what we're going to ask for, a personal bond, Your Honor.
I have him as a $5,000 personal bond on the 8 charges, Your Honor.
So on the date of November 6th, was he on a personal bond?
I
was in jail.
I don't know, Your Honor. I had November the 7th, so he may not have been.
No.
But I think he certainly deserves a cash bond.
Mr. Burr, why is he in jail now? I think I heard Mr. Ragnar or one of you say he's on remand status. Why is he on remand status?
That's what it says in Wayne County Jail. That's what it said in the Wayne County Jail system. But it looks like he only has a pending MDOP and a disturbing the peace case. If you could help us explain a little bit, Mr. Wright, that'd be appreciated.
Yes, sir. All the stuff, the loitering and all that, and the trespassing, that got dismissed. That got threw out by the last judge. And my last court date was on October 31st Halloween, I went to court and that got threw out as well because the officer didn't appear. And my lawyer had told me I had court, they didn't come and get me to call some type of bench warrant or something, but I was in here. So I didn't, it's never like I missed court. I went to court from the 31st and I was here now. And my last bond when I got out on tether, that was $100, 10%. $1,000, I won't be able to pay that. So I'm hoping, you know,
Thank you,
And
sir.
just for a little clarity, Your Honor, respectfully, the deputy told us that, he's on remand, but the registered action says personal bond.
That's what they told me too. They said I had a personal bond. I was waiting on tether. So when they said something about missing court, I never knew that I had a court date because I was in here. My last court date I showed up to, which was October 31st.
So, Mr. Byrd and Mr. Ragnon, do we have any consensus on whether or not he was on a personal bond when these allegations arose?
Yes, he was, Your Honor. I have it, in the Michigan court case search right here in front of me. I have that he was under a personal bond.
And who was he under that personal bond?
Yeah, that's
I had $100 10% bond to get out on tether.
11/3/24, I believe. He had let's see, event dates 11/4, but 11/3, he had all the charges filed against him on that date. And I don't see a bond even on, I see a $10,000 personal bond that was changed on
I never had
but I had a 5,000.
charge. Whatever. I never had no drug charge. Whatever was said, I never had that.
I believe if we don't have clarity, Your Honor, we shouldn't assume that he was out on a personal bond, in which we're gonna put a cash bond on, in order to put a cash bond on him.
That's true, Mr. Byrd, but I have him on 10/31/24 bound over for a malicious destruction of a building for $1,000 to $20,000 with a pretrial set for 12/10/24. Pending as
So
well.
what's the bond? What's the bond on that? I don't care what he's charged with.
Judge, you know what? I can't confirm that the bond was set prior to the date that you asked. I can't confirm
Okay,
that.
thank
So
you.
we can't use that. Thank you.
So in the absence of clarity on that, I'm not going to apply 765.6A. Here's what we'll do for this matter. Sir, you'll have no contact with the complaining witness. You'll have no contact with the Citgo gas station on Livernois. You will be on a GPS tether on house arrest. Court will set bond of $1,000 personal. And 1 second for your next court date.
Thank you, sir.
Next court date will be a pretrial December 12th in front of Judge Bryant here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You're all set.
Get in the breakout room again. We won't.
Yeah, can any defense counsel available to speak with Mr. Wright briefly?
Yeah, if we can be going to breakout room with Mr. Wright in the other office, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you.
Who can do that?
Thank you, Your Honor.
And can I get this pretrial date one more time, Your Honor?
I think he said the 12th.
December 12th.
In front of Jones or Bryant?
Breakout room. Okay.
So who's gonna do a breakout room?
It should be, my law partners will be, give me 1 second.
Your Honor, we can be put in a breakout room. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, here's a breakout room. Okay, and in Wayne County, looks like the room is 3H11. Who do you have there?
Latrell Lay.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir, you're gonna need to join, Mr. Wright, you're gonna need to join that breakout room.
Yeah, we waiting for it to pop up on the screen, Your Honor.
It should be there.
It didn't join, it clicked and it like canceled out. If you could let them know from the MLD office, sir.
Okay, I'll reset it.
Okay.
Your Honor, I didn't get an opportunity to speak with Mr. Wright. I'm not sure what happened, but nobody joined the breakout room.
Okay. Yeah, I'm resetting it. Okay, here you go. Where did that go? Okay, Mr. Lay, this is going to be case 24-057704, State of Michigan versus Latrell Lamar Lay, counsel. And this is a AG case.
Yes, Your Honor, Brandon Bird on behalf of Latrell Lay. My client waived his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, so stand mute.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf as defined.
As defined, Your Honor, 35-year-old, lifelong resident of Michigan, Your Honor, never been arraigned. He is lined up for a job, searching for a job, supposed to, indicates to us that he's supposed to start trucking on Wednesday. Respectfully, we're gonna ask this court for a personal bond, Your Honor, for good cause to allow Mr. Lay to work.
Thank you. Court finds that Mr. Lay's either employment or seeking employment is good cause to deviate from the statute. Court will make his seeking employment a condition of bond. What's the alleged arrears here, if you know?
Not sure, Your Honor. Let me see.
Here we go. Court will set bond at $5,000 personal. And next court date is this going in front of Taylor or is it going over to, okay. Next court date is a probable cause conference, January 9, 2025. And preliminary exam, January 22, 2025, both in front of Judge Taylor here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You're all set.
Your Honor, this is Miss Tanya Wilson.
Okay. And I think our counsel wanted to speak with her briefly before we do her case. And do I have any other cameras ready? Yeah, did Mr. Wright ever join the breakout room?
Hey, Judge, we hit the join button and it kicked us right back to your courtroom for some reason.
Okay, let me reset it.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, once again, we didn't have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Wright.
Right. I don't know what's happening with the breakout rooms, but I'm gonna reset it again.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, it might be faster now if we put Ms. Wilson in the breakout room first with my co-counsel, then allow Mr. Wright to go into the breakout room with my co-counsel.
Yeah, she's not doing too well. I need to get her to the medical unit.
Okay, I'll let you talk to Ms. Wilson first. As soon as you're done with her, we can get her arraigned so they can do what needs to be done.
Just your sheet real quick, B money. That's on there.
What's going on with these breakout rooms?
Your Honor, I tried clicking join meeting and it ended the Zoom call.
Yeah, okay, let me try to reset that one more time.
Yeah, and I apologize. Again, we didn't have an opportunity to speak with Ms. Wilson.
Miss Wilson saying she apologizes. She can't sit in here. She just left.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna try to put you in a breakout anyhow. She can come back whenever she's able to.
I tried joining again and it booted us up back to the session.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with these breakout rooms today. All right. I don't know. I think it's probably something at the jail. Because yeah, the attorneys out in the hallway they're able to get into it. Yeah.
Your Honor, can you try sending me?
Yes, I can. The problem seems to be over at the jail, however, but sure, I'll try putting you.
Oh, okay.
Roberts and 412. All right. Okay, that worked. Okay, the gentleman at MDLC, what's your name, sir? The guy with the screen name of inmate. I'm thinking he must be MDLC.
No, I'm not.
All
I'm
right.
not MBOC. I'm in Livingston County.
Oh, okay. What's your name?
Anthony Doe.
Okay. Mr. Bird, have you interviewed Mr. Doe's?
We still, is he from Cannon, Your Honor? Out?
No, he's in Livingston County, he says. His name is Anthony Doe's.
We're gonna have to speak with him after, when my co-counsel gets a chance, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Can I say
All right,
something?
So, well, I don't want you to say much. When the defense attorneys come back, I'm gonna put you in a breakout room with them so that they can interview you.
I don't even know what I'm going to come to court for.
Okay. Well, we'll get that all cleared up for you. I'm sure they can tell you. Looks like a charge of carjacking. All right, let's try to do DDC.
Your Honor, real quick, I'm sorry. I just talked to
Yes.
Ms. Roberts. I don't know, Ms. Wilson's not gonna participate today. She's getting sick, she's refusing. You saw her sitting here, she had to go back to lay down. Is there a way we can try this tomorrow morning?
Sure, why not? We'll put her over till tomorrow. Yeah,
All right.
we'll put her over till tomorrow.
Do I need to log in for a breakout tomorrow morning or just 10:30 into the courtroom?
Ms. Roberts?
10:30 should be fine, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So, Ms. Roberts, I want to put you in with Mr. Doe's, who's in Livingston County, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Tanya Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So Ms. Moore is going, not Ms. Moore. Who we just push over, Your Honor?
Tanya Wilson.
Tanya Wilson. Gotcha.
Okay. Let's try to get DDC. Hey, DDC, you there? I don't know. Which one is Canton? Oh, Antonio Johnson. It says, available at 11:30. Yeah. Are they dialing into us or we call them?
It should, only people we dial into is Ozone County.
Okay. Can somebody call DDC, please? Hi, DDC, we're ready for you. You're muted. That's not gonna ever work. Good morning, sir. What's your name, please? Thank you. And DDC, I understand you have a Mr. Abdullah Ahmad who needs an interpreter. There's Canton. All right, Mr. Hassan, first we're going to deal with a misdemeanor ticket you have where apparently you missed the court date. When you missed that date, a judge issued an arrest warrant for you. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, the court will provide one for you. Do you understand those rights, sir?
Yes, I do.
The ticket U 517-82419. Charge is offer to engage services of another for an act of prostitution. Looks like it was back in 2019. Misdemeanor charge, sir. Maximum penalty you face is up to 93 days in jail and or $500 fine. I'm going to set aside the arrest warrant. Enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, give you a personal bond. Your next court date is a pretrial, January 7th, 2025, in front of Judge Millhouse here in 36th District Court. Your other matter today is 24-059-636, State of Michigan versus Joseph Patrick Hassan, counsel.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
And yes, Your Honor, Brandon Byrd on behalf of Joseph Hassan, my client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, so we'll stand mute.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
Your Honor, Mr. Hassan, the people wouldn't object to a $25,000 personal bond. Your Honor, we do have some concerns given the priors, but Your Honor, this dates back to August 14th of 2024. I did look on the register of actions on the case where Mr. Hassan had probation, and it matches up with what he said about being in custody on the date he was supposed to return the vehicle. Odyssey shows that he was arraigned on a violation of probation warrant August 5th of 2024, which was a Monday. The truck was due back August 3rd, a Saturday. While it doesn't really explain why he would have had it several days later, Your Honor, it does appear that that his being in custody would match up with the register of actions. So this is not assault, but we're not going to object to 25,000 personal.
No
Thank you.
objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court will set bond $20,000 personal. Next court date is December 9, probable cause conference, December 16, preliminary exam, both in front of Judge Jefferson here at 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside. So, DDC, you've got a guy who needs an interpreter. I'm wondering if you can put him on camera 3, and that way the defense counsel can interview him with the interpreter while we're doing the rest of the docket. Gentleman sitting at DDC, what's your name, please?
Roger Lavender Island Jr.
Thank you. And sir, you got some traffic tickets we're going to deal with first, where you missed some court dates. When you missed those dates, a judge put out a bench warrant for you. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, the court will provide one for you. Do you understand those rights, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, give me 1 second. We'll go through these tickets. Madam Clerk, just so you know, the last mit with the tickets doesn't have a signature page. First ticket is P1259865, charge of driver's license never acquired. P1206182. Insurance misdemeanor and driver's license never acquired. And P1434182, driving while license suspended and no insurance misdemeanor. These are all misdemeanor charges. Maximum penalty you face on each is up to 93 days in jail and or $500 fine. I'm going to set aside the arrest warrant, enter not guilty plea on your behalf, give you a personal bond. Your next court date is a pretrial in front of Judge Archer on January 7th, 2025, here in 36th District Court. Your other matter today is 23055697, State of Michigan versus Roderick Lavender Island. I hope I pronounced that correctly, sir. Counsel.
Yeah, Samuel A. Ragnan. The people will not be appearing on this matter. Tony Cape. Thank you.
And we won't have any updates. No updates.
Update on the cases. All right, that being the case, court will set bond in accordance with the capias at $1,000, 10%. Sorry, Madam Clerk, I checked off the cash box first. Sir, while this case is pending, you're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. And 1 second for your dates. You get a bond redetermination hearing on Wednesday, December 4th. After that, it'll be probable cause conference December 9th in front of Judge Robbins, preliminary exam December 16 in front of Judge Taylor. All of that here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Like I said. No.
Yeah, good morning, sir. What's your name, please?
Trayvon Hicks.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hicks, we're gonna start with some traffic tickets. Those dates, the judge issued an arrest warrant for you. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, the court will provide one for you. Do you understand those rights?
Yes.
First ticket is P 1113271, charges of driving unregistered vehicle, no insurance misdemeanor, and driving while license suspended. Ticket P 1554449, no insurance misdemeanor. These are all misdemeanor charges. Maximum penalty you face is up to 93 days in jail and or $500 fine. I want to set aside the arrest warrants and enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, give you personal bond. Your next court date is a pretrial, January 7th, 2025. In front of Judge Millhouse here in 36th District Court. Your other matter today is case 22-045731, State of Michigan versus Devon Hicks, counsel.
Thank you, Magistrate Steve Benson for the people.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Devon Hicks. My client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights and will stand mute.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
Magistrate, I got an opportunity to read the allegations. It's over a 2-year-old incident. The defendant doesn't have any priors. At this time, I feel comfortable recommending a personal no contact through the pendency of this case.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir, while this case is pending, you're to have no contact with Ms. Veller. And do they live at the same address? Does anyone know?
Possibly at the time. I don't have any information since, though, Magistrate.
Not, I don't believe so, but let me just double check. Mr. Hicks, Ms. Teresa Veller, does she live with you? No.
Thank you, sir. No contact with Ms. Veller. Who lives at Green Lawn, Mr. Hicks or Ms. Veller?
Hey, yeah, I used to stay there, I moved.
Okay. Thank you, sir. No contact with Ms. Veller, no contact with the Green Lawn address. Bond will be set at, what is this? $2,000 personal. Next court date is a pretrial, December 12th, in front of Judge Bryant here in 36th District Court. Also, sir, you're not to possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons. Thank you. You're all set. Good morning, sir. What's your name, please?
Michael.
23-045-677, State of Michigan versus Michael Matthias De Niro Hall, counsel.
Samuel A. Ragnan for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Michael Hall. My client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights and will stand mute.
Will enter a not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
People are asking for a $10,000 personal bond, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
Sir, while this case is pending, you're not to have any contact with any Home Depot store. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
$2,000 personal. Next court date is December 12th, pretrial in front of Judge Bryant here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm going to prison, so I got my that's gonna pick me up. I'm not gonna get back released on the street. I'm gonna be going to DLC property.
Okay, well, they'll have to locate you in MDOC and bring you in on that. They can zoom you in on the December 12th day.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the only thing I've been charged with?
This is with the retail fraud from the Home Depot on Myers and 7 Mile in Detroit.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yep. Good morning. What's your name, please?
Wilson.
Thank you. This is case 23-055-144, State of Michigan versus DeAndre Lamar Wilson II, counsel.
Thank you, Magistrate Steve Benson, P 71917.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of DeAndre Wilson. My client waives his right to formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf as a $100 10% CAFIAS for missing sentencing in 2023 as to bond.
Yeah, Magistrate, you're correct. Originally a felony, it was pled down to this RCSP 200 U 1000. Apparently the sentencing was rescheduled to June 23 of 23, failed to appear, was given another opportunity, failed to appear again. It's only $10 at this point, Magistrate. We're not going to be objecting to you converting it to a personal.
Thank you. Court will set bond at $1,000 personal. Sir, show up for the sentencing. Get this case over with, please. Your next court date is December 12th for a review date in front of Judge Bryant here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You're all set. Hi, what's your name, sir?
Gilmore, Eric.
Thank you. And this will be case 21-059-732, State of Michigan versus Eric Gilmore, counsel.
Samuel E. Ragnar for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Eric Gilmore. My client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, so will stand mute.
Excuse me, court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
We're asking for a $100,000 cash surety bond, Your Honor, to be able to post a bond. We're asking for a tether house arrest at a different location since he is a neighbor to the victim in this matter. The victim stated when the police arrived that the defendant, who lived at a particular address, I believe was next door, she didn't know his name, fired a gun at her 3 times and then got in a particular orange vehicle and left the scene. The police, when they arrived, they found a shell casing in the driveway. They also said that there was another witness there who corroborated the victim's statement that this defendant pointed his gun and shot 3 times at the victim who was in her yard and then left the scene. There is also pictures taken of the defendant and in the car by the victim, I believe, who provided cell phone photographs of the vehicle and of the defendant as he was leaving the scene. So very serious matter, shooting at someone 3 times. Fortunately, they didn't hit the complaining witness. I believe that she even, in fact, responded to the shots herself, but nobody was struck. So we're asking for, when they did a search warrant, they found numerous pistol magazine and numerous .9mm rounds in the defendant's bedroom, and his passport and his car title confirmed that he was. We're asking for the cash bond because he is definitely a danger to his neighbor, number one, but also to the public. Shooting a gun in public 3 times over who knows what, I think is a very serious matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Roberts, do you need to interview Canton?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thirty-year-old resident of South Carolina right now. He was born and raised here, Your Honor, but he lives in South Carolina, far away from the complaining witness. Was employed, but quit his job to turn himself in. He turned himself in today. Unfortunately, he'd be unable to afford any amount of bond. My client looks forward to the thing important in this matter and making a prosecution proved their burden, in which he's still innocent unless proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But I believe on charges like this, stemming from 3 years, over 3 years ago now, having a client come turn himself in this morning, shows a lot about how he's gonna handle this case. And we weren't presented with any prior criminal history from our client. We weren't presented with, any, cases in between this matter, that he had any contact with the law, that he's been charged with any crimes within the past 3.5 years. So he's shown that he's not a threat to the community, Your Honor. He could be out in the community. He could be out in the community. And I believe he could be out in the community and stay away from police contact and abide by the court's orders as he's done for the past 3.5 years plus of his life. So respectfully, Your Honor, that's what we're gonna be asking for. I know it's unusual on a case like this. We don't have injuries. I do understand we have witnesses, which is a niece and an uncle against my client. And in which the allegations state that the niece supposedly shot in the air after being shot at. So when somebody else is firing a gun, I believe is very important to make sure the credibility of that person is essentially that person is essentially credible, and that my client has his side of the story too. With allegations like this, it's best if he's quiet. So respectfully, I do understand these are very serious assaultive allegations, but that's exactly what they are right now. They're allegations. The allegations in which my client said, I'm gonna take this head on. I'm gonna quit my job since I found out about it. I'm gonna come up to Michigan. I'm gonna turn myself in. And he has a mother here just in case he can't return to South Carolina. He would like permission to travel to South Carolina, but he understands that might not be possible. But we see he's not trying to run, so I don't see why that would be a problem, Your Honor. And respectfully, that's what we're gonna ask for this matter. We're gonna ask for a personal bond. I don't believe a tether is necessary because he's showing you that he turned himself in and he's looking to take care of this, knowing that he was facing a life offense. And I don't see him as a threat to the community because he's been showing us for the past 3.5 years that he's not a threat to the community. Actually, that he was trying to be an asset to the community by working and taking care of his family, which is 4 kids who he helps raise.
Madam Clerk.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have yeah, thank you. You say he lives in South Carolina?
He does live in South Carolina, Your Honor.
And he turned himself in?
Came from South Carolina to Michigan to turn himself in on this matter. Once he found out he was being charged with these allegations.
Very serious allegations, as you made reference to, Mr. Byrd. It's a life offense, assault with intent to murder. The allegations that he fired a gun at apparently his neighbor. Thankfully, no one was hit. And court does appreciate the fact that he did come to turn himself in. So here's what I'll do. Wow. Court will set, sir, while this case is pending, you're not to possess a firearm, you're not to have any contact with a complaining witness. You will be on GPS tether on house arrest. You said he can stay at his mom's house, Mr. Byrd?
He can, Your Honor.
Be on GPS tether, house arrest to your mom's house. Court will set bond at $50,000 personal. Very unique circumstances here, sir. I was very much intending on just keeping you locked up, but given the totality of circumstances, that's the bond. Next court date will be probable cause conference December 9, preliminary exam December 16, both in front of Judge Giles here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, are we ready for the gentleman in Livingston County? Mr. Byrd?
I apologize, Your Honor. We are done with,
Can we do Mr. Doe?
Does. We are done with Mr. Does, Your Honor. We do have something unique. We were gonna try and reach out to his other attorney. I understand his other attorney was appointed. He had some charges dismissed or this, some, from the same incident date, some charges dismissed on this matter from the same incident date. And I do understand why he might want his prior attorney because she's more knowledgeable on the facts and circumstances surrounding the situation. If we could just get a chance to potentially reach out to his attorney and see if she's willing to participate in this arraignment, then it'd be greatly appreciated. If not, Your Honor, then we have to proceed like we normally do.
I'll give you a second to do that. I would suspect, though, if she's not appointed on this matter, she may not be willing to pop up. But try to get in touch with her, but once you get an answer one way or another, let me know, okay?
Soon as, Your Honor.
All right, gentlemen at DDC, what's your name, please?
Thanks, Ray.
In the red shirt. Next, we're gonna start with a traffic ticket where you missed a court date. When you missed that court date, a judge issued an arrest warrant for you. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, the court will provide one for you. Do you understand those rights, sir?
Yes, sir.
5711 with a charge of improper plates. It's a misdemeanor charge. Maximum penalty you face is up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. I want to set aside the arrest warrant. Enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, give you a personal bond. Your next court date on that matter is a pretrial January 6th in front of Judge Yancey here in 36th District Court. Your other matter today is case 24-046021, State of Michigan versus Devontae Armand Broadnax. Counsels.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
And yes, Your Honor, Brandon Bird on behalf of Devontae Broadnax, my client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights and will stand mute.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
Your Honor, Mr. Broadnax, the people wouldn't object to a $25,000 personal bond. I didn't see any prior alcohol-related offenses. I saw a couple of misdemeanors that were not alcohol-related that were a few years old. However, the people do have some concerns given the allegations here that there was a one-car crash on the freeway that ended up partially blocking a lane, which could have ended up with someone being seriously hurt. This does date back about 2 years, Your Honor. However, when we look at the blood alcohol level, which was 0.240 an hour after police responded to the scene, Your Honor, it does give us some concern about safety of the public. So I am asking for an alcohol tether. That blood alcohol level is 3 times the legal limit. So for it to still be that high an hour later, we have that concern. We would ask for the condition of driving without the valid license, Your Honor, but no objection to personal, given that there's no other alcohol-related offenses that are known, Your Honor. So that's what we're requesting.
Thank you.
No objection to the personal bond. We're just asking for no alcohol tether, Your Honor. It's been roughly 2 years since the alleged incident, almost 2 years since the alleged incident of the date. And he did try and better his life in multiple ways, including going to Focus Hope, graduating from Focus Hope, being employed, Your Honor. So respectfully, that's what we're going to be asking for.
Thank you. Court is very concerned about an alleged blood alcohol level of 0.24, as indicated by the people, is 3 times the legal limit. That's pretty high. Additionally, the single car accident raises concerns, could have very easily involved other persons and cause great injury. That being the case, sir, while this case is pending, you are not to consume alcohol at any time. To assist you with that, I will put you on an alcohol tether. court will set bond at $10,000 personal. Next court date is December 12th for pretrial in front of Judge Bryant here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Thank you.
You're all set, sir. You can step aside.
Was that with?
Sit down. Hi, what's your name, sir?
My name is Michael.
Thank you, sir. We're gonna start with some traffic tickets where you missed some court dates. When you miss those dates, a judge issued an arrest warrant for you. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, the court will provide one for you. Do you understand those rights, sir? All right, first ticket is U 636-45222 with a charge of narcotic and drug-related violations. Ticket P 1329947, possession of drug paraphernalia. P 1351601, refusing to leave active commercial establishment after request by owner. P 1473538, loitering. P 1498520, possession of drug paraphernalia. P 1565247, trespassing. And U 704-91124, trespassing in vacant or occupied commercial buildings. These are all misdemeanor charges. Maximum penalty faced on each is up to 93 days in jail and or $500 fine. I'm going to set aside the arrest warrants. Enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, give you personal bond. Your next court date is a pretrial, January 7th, 2025, in front of Judge Archer here in 36th District Court. Your other matter today is case 24045272, State of Michigan versus Michael Charles Stitt. Counsel.
Thank you, Magistrate. Good afternoon. Steve Vincent for the people.
Yes, Your Honor, Brandon Bird on behalf of Michael Stitt. My client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, so will stand mute.
We'll enter a not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
Magistrate, I have an incident date about 2.5 years ago. This is non-assaultive, never been arraigned before. We're not going to be objecting to a person.
No objections, Your Honor.
Sir, while this case is pending, you're not to have any contact with any Meyer store. Is that clear to you? Sir, no contact with Meyer.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Say that again.
No contact with any Meyer store. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. No contact with nothing. And guys, can I say one thing, Your Honor?
No, please, Mr. Stitt.
I'm sorry.
I think it's best if you exercise your right to remain silent. Everything you say could be used against you and being recorded. You don't gotta be sorry, brother. I just wanna protect your rights, all right?
Court will set bond at $2,000 personal. Next court date is a pre-trial, December 12th, in front of Judge Jones here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside. Thanks. Yep, personal. Are we ready on Canton?
Ready on Cannon, yeah.
Gentleman in Canton Township, what's your name, please? I'm sorry, one more time, please.
Does that mean?
Yes, you, sir. Are you Antonio Johnson?
Yeah, it's Antonio Levante Johnson.
Thank you. This is case 24060081, State of Michigan versus Antonio Levante Johnson. Counsel.
Samuel A. Ragnar for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Antonio Johnson. My client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Court will enter a not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
Well, Your Honor, this is the case of the defendant has 14 charges against him, 5 of which were delivery of cocaine, hand-to-hand delivery to undercover agents, 5 using a computer to commit a crime, and 4 weapons charges. Your Honor, he's a HAB-3. Back in 2003, he had a felonious assault and felony firearm. But Your Honor, the defendant admitted that he has sold heroin since he was in the 8th grade. They did a search of his home. They found heroin there. They found weapons there. They found a number of things. Plus, they go through the investigator's report with each individual sale that was made to this man. Now, normally we might say, well, this would be something we could use for a tether home arrest, but that's where he sold his drugs, Your Honor, or he went left there and met someplace else. So I believe a $10,000, 10% cash bond, cash and surety bond is appropriate to protect the public. I mean, he's admitted that he's done this in most of his life. But I also will ask for a tether home arrest if he is able to post a bond. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
If what is said to be true, Your Honor, it's unfortunate that an 8th grader had to experience that at such a young age. In which my client has tried to do some other things in his life also, including get a GED. He's job searching right now, but trying to have gainful employment. But it's difficult when you have a felony on your record, and it's extra difficult when you his code. And that's just that's just the facts. I'm not making an excuse why these things should happen. But once I heard that 8th grade, I was just it was kind of shocking to me if that allegation is said to be true. But these allegations stem from roughly 2022. We don't have any new allegations against him in this matter, Your Honor. Actually, he had a 2022 misdemeanor drug case in which she went to the tether agency to get it removed, and that's what they put him on this matter. So it seems like the prosecutor hasn't seen him as a danger to leave him outside, to allow him to 2 years to pass. That much of a danger where they allowed 2 years to pass before even signing a warrant in this situation, Your Honor. And at the end of the day, these are non-assaultive allegations. I understand somebody can make a point, maybe drugs are dangerous or things like that. But in the nature of the context of the law, this is an assaultive allegation against a person. We haven't heard that Mr. Johnson forced anybody to use any drugs. Let me cut you off, Mr.
Bird. Let me cut you off, Mr. Bird. You give me a whole lot of who shot John. Court finds that the people's request for a 10% bond is superfluous. If Mr. Johnson in fact sells this much dope, $1,000 bond would be irrelevant. Court will set bond at $10,000 personal. Sir, you're not to use or consume any illegal controlled substances. You're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon while this case is pending. Next court date will be a probable cause conference December 12th and preliminary exam December 19th, both in front of Judge Taylor here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. We're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you, Canton.
Thank you.
All right, sir, at DDC, what's your name, please?
Demetrius Deswan Taylor.
Thank you, sir. This case 24-060-814, State of Michigan versus Demetrius Deswan Taylor. Counsel.
Samuel A. Reagan for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Demetrius Taylor. My client waives his right to the formal reading, who advised his constitutional rights and stand me.
Court will enter a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. As to bond.
Chief, I'm going to ask for $75,000 personal bond. We're going to ask for a tether with home arrest, Your Honor. Defendant has a pending case from 11/3/24. We have 8 charges of controlled substance, delivery, and weapons pending. He also has a conviction on 9/2/2015, I believe, for controlled substance. So, Your Honor, we're asking for a personal bond. We're asking for a tether with home arrest. Thank you.
Thank you.
2015, 9 assaulted, Your Honor, 9 assaulted cases in which is currently pending against my client. I'm 34-year-old lifelong resident of Michigan, 2 children, lives with his girlfriend and 1 child, Your Honor. Respectfully, we're gonna ask this court for a personal bond in this matter. He does suffer from more physical and mental issues, Your Honor, all medication. He hasn't received his medication since he's been in jail. Has
Is he working?
He isn't, Your Honor. No.
He is or is not?
He is not. He's on government assistance right now with the type of condition he has for his physical and mental issues. It'd be very difficult for him to work.
Thank you. Will be a GPS tether, house arrest. Court will set bond at $10,000 personal. Next court date, 1 moment for the date. Court date will be December 9, probable cause conference, December 16, preliminary exam, both in front of Judge Taylor here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
And what was the bond amount? Yeah.
10,000 personal. Can we do Mr. Doze yet, or where are we on that?
Yeah,
Mr. Bird.
No, Mr. Dawes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Doze, your name for the record, please. Thank you. We're going to start with some traffic tickets where you missed some court dates. When you miss those dates, the judge issued an arrest warrant for you. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, the court will provide one for you. Do you understand those rights, sir? A little bit louder. Couldn't hear you.
I say yes, sir.
Thank you. First ticket is P1484671. Charges of driver's license never required and no insurance misdemeanor. Second ticket is P1596530. Driver's license never required and reckless driving. These are all misdemeanor charges. Maximum penalty you face on each is up to 93 days in jail and or $500 fine. I'm going to set aside the arrest warrant and a not guilty plea on your behalf and give you a personal bond. Your next court date is a pretrial, January 6th, in front of Judge Sherman here in 36th District Court. Your other matter today is case 24-060-61903, State of Michigan versus Anthony Antoine Doze. Counsel.
Thank you, Magistrate Steve Benson for the people.
Yes, Your Honor. Brian Bird on behalf of Anthony Doze. My client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf. As to bond.
Magistrate, respectfully, we're asking for a $250,000 cash assurity tether house arrest. I was listening to Ms. Bird earlier regarding Mr. Doze and his previous matter. It's a reissue here. You previously arraigned this individual last year. You gave him a $250,000 cash assurity tether house arrest. At that time, he was charged with carjacking and felony firearms. Now, I heard Mr. Bird say that there were charges that were dropped and this was reissued. I actually see it quite the opposite. He's being charged with a carjacking now as well as an armed robbery. He didn't have the armed robbery in the first case. And he only had 1 felony firearms in the first case. Now he has 2. So there are charges that have been added to this reissue, not dropped. We feel as though he's a danger, Judge. We don't have one of the defendants arraigned yet on this reissue, but previously you gave him a $250,000 cash surety bond. We're going to be asking for the same thing. Quite honestly, I think we could ask for more, seeing as though there's an armed robbery. We could go so far as to ask for a remand at this point, but seeing as though it's a reissue, we're just gonna go with your previous bond of 250,000 cash.
Thank you.
It was dismissed for insufficient evidence, Your Honor. Dismissed without prejudice for insufficient evidence on November 22nd, 2023. My client, it looks like my client already had to spend a certain extent in jail because of $250,000 cash bond, only to have the case dismissed without prejudice. Now we're gonna place another $250,000 cash bond when we don't have any evidence that he has any more contact with the law since he's been free for, it looks like that was dismissed on November 22nd, 2023, roughly over a year now. So for a year now, my client has shown that he can't have no police contact. He can't have no police contact, Your Honor. And as I said, this is a real issue. I mean, if we play this game, then we could dismiss without prejudice and lock somebody up every year. Every year if we want to. When the goal of bond is flight risk and threat to the community. And that right now he's shown that he's shown that he could be not a threat to the community besides the allegations against him in which he's still innocent, unless proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt for the past year of his life. He's shown that he haven't had police contact, and we haven't had any case history presented in front of us. So we haven't had any history that he's going to be a flight risk either. So respectfully, we're going to ask this court for a personal bond in this matter, Your Honor. Allow my client to fight this out the confines of the county jail.
Do either of you know why he's in Livingston County?
Judge, I did a little bit of work on that. Apparently there was a warrant that was requested out of MSP Brighton. That's the only Livingston matter that I would have unless they executed on that warrant. That was in June of 2023 where there was a request for felony drugs. Now it's possibly that. It could be something else. Just one other thing though, I need to address defense counsel's argument there. There is new evidence. There's been a victim that was unidentified previously that now is identified. And that's why we have the armed robbery. That's why the case was reissued here. So with all of that being said, we're going to stick to our request for the cash bond.
Court finds that the allegations against defendant, specifically an armed carjacking and additional gun-related charges, that the defendant poses a threat to society as a whole. Court will set bond $250,000 cash or surety. There will be a bond redetermination hearing on Wednesday, December 4th in front of Chief Judge McConico. Further dates are probable cause conference December 12th, preliminary exam December 19th, both in front of Judge Jefferson here in 36th District Court. Thank you, Mr. Doe. Is you're all set?
Thank
you. Okay, gentlemen at DDC, what's your name, please?
Michael Cornelius Sterling Jr.
Thank you. This is case 24060813, State of Michigan versus Michael Cornelius Sterling. Counsel.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Michael Sterling. My client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional right, so we'll stand mute.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
Your Honor, Mr. Sterling, right now the people are asking for a bond of $50,000 cash or surety with tether house arrest. Your Honor, Mr. Sterling does have a prior assaultive conviction in that he was convicted of bank robbery and just got off of parole in February of 2023. Here, he allegedly hit his sister in the face with a either a glass bottle or a glass candle holder because he didn't like the Thanksgiving food she made for dinner. Your Honor, and so we do have concerns here that he also allegedly punched her and kicked her several times while she was on the floor. Officer did indicate that he saw bruising and laceration in her eye, and she did get treatment by medics, Your Honor. There was a 2007 A&B Mr. Sterling left the location before police arrived there. He actually ended up getting picked up the next day for a different incident involving the same person. That warrant request is still under review, but the complaint witness did indicate that he had threatened to burn her house down. That's what that second incident on the 29th is about. But like I said, that's still under review. So we do have concerns for the safety of this complaining witness, the lives of the people who live in that house. The alleged motivation for the attack is non-existent. Who beats up their sister allegedly because they don't like the way the Thanksgiving dinner tastes. So, Your Honor, given that he does have a serious assaultive history, that this is assaultive, that there was threats of further violence. Your Honor, the people do have concerns for safety of the complaining witness and the people who live in her home and near her home. So we're asking for a bond of $50,000 cash or surety, tether house arrest.
Thank you. I did the probable cause hearing on this morning, and one has to ask, if the chicken tastes like wood. But go ahead, Mr. Burt. What's your argument?
First of all, Your Honor, I'm gonna need some time to read this, but I do object to any warrant that's under review. Our office was never notified of that, was never able to discuss that with our client. And I would like to put that on record when we've been told multiple times that we need to be provided with that information so we can better prepare our clients. Well, just give me 1 second to read the report that we have in front of us. I would appreciate it, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I can't slow down. So patient. Take pictures of this.
Well, was kind of weird to me, Your Honor. It is a Thanksgiving dinner with nobody else besides those two. At least I don't see any other witnesses, but I might be wrong.
You say all that to say what?
That's weird. It seemed like somebody else would be there for Thanksgiving and another witness would be able to speak up about the situation, but we don't have that in front of us. We don't have anything to corroborate that. But my client does have his side of the story too. 35-year-old lifelong resident, Your Honor, lives with his mother. Indicates to us that he is on federal probation right now for interfering with commerce. And it's interfering with interstate commerce, Your Honor. And he was supposed to finish his probation in 2025. He is looking for employment. He was supposed to start work as a cleaner today, but unfortunately, he most likely he's going to be unable to. My client indicates to us that he lives with his mom, not a complaining witness, so no contact shouldn't be a problem. My client indicates to us that his sister is violent and was drunk that night. She tried to attack him. He has left arm bruising. To show when he got attacked. But unfortunately, what's in the report, police pick and choose what they want to put in the report a lot of times. And don't put about hit the bruising that he suffered from in this matter, indicated that he did leave because he was on federal probation. He indicated to us that he texted the probation officer and told him about it before leaving the house at the time of the incident. So he did try and take some steps to mitigate the situation of him leaving. He didn't try and hide the situation from his federal probation officer. Your Honor, he's not running from this case. He understands the consequences.
Thank you.
Respectfully,
Thank you,
we
Mr.
ask
Byrd.
this court for a personal bond.
Thank you. Sir, while this case is pending, you're not to consume alcohol at any time. You're not to possess a firearm, any other dangerous weapon. You're to have no contact with Ms. Archie. Is all that clear to you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Court was set by $10,000 personal. Next court date is December 9, probable cause conference, December 16, preliminary exam, both in front of Judge Jefferson here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Your Honor, I believe that might be the last mail, but it is something I want to address. And we could address it after we speak with.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name, please? Thank you, sir. This is case 24-046-041, State of Michigan versus Jonathan Dupree Price. Counsels.
Thank you, Magistrate. Steve Benson, P 71917.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Byrd on behalf of Donovan Price. My client waived his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf. As to bond.
Magistrate, I had the opportunity to read the investigator's report. It is a recent incident, 11/29 of 24. And there is some assault here, Judge. This defendant, though, has no priors. Hoping that this is just an isolated one-off incident. At this time, we're going to be requesting a personal bond, no contact through the pendency of the case.
Thanks.
Has an alternate location to stay, needs a police escort, one-time police escort to get his belongings. No objection to the personal bond, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. While this case is pending, you to have contact with Ms. King or with the Grosvenor Street address. Is that clear?
Yes.
We'll give you one-time visit with a police escort. If you need to get any personal belongings, court will set bond at $5,000 personal. Next court date is a pretrial, December 12, in front of Judge Garrett here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Yes, Your Honor. It is something I'd like to address about DeMarco Anderson. DeMarco Anderson is the one who.
DeMarco Anderson apparently isn't going. Do you have anything other than that? And we do have a John Coleman and Mr. Ahmed that we still have to do.
That's what I'm trying to address here, Your Honor, about Mr. Anderson not going. He walked himself in. He clearly isn't the person that they're looking for, in which I have pictures to show that. They came straight from DDC, and I don't want them sitting there. I don't want them sitting there more time than somebody that's actually facing the crime.
Thank you. I understand.
Yeah,
I get it. So, can we get Mr. Anderson's file or not?
He have to address that with Ms. Jackson.
Yeah. I agree with you, counsel, that there may be some sort of an identification issue. He turned himself in and he should not be sitting in DDC any longer than necessary. Can someone call Ms. Jackson, please? All right, gentlemen at DDC, what's your name?
John Coleman.
Thank you, sir. This is case 24-045-600, State of Michigan versus John Coleman. Counsel.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P 72748.
And yes, Your Honor, Brandon Bird on behalf of John Coleman, where client waives his right to the formal reading and will stand mute.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
Your
And
Honor,
there
this,
is a $500 cash with GPS tethered KPS in the file.
yes, Your Honor, we're going to
Yes.
ask for the KPS bond to be kept in place. Here, Mr. Coleman's been missing for a full 4 months. Since he failed to appear back in August. I actually remember this case from when it was originally arraigned. Your Honor, officers did indicate that they saw bruising on the defendant's mother's face and on her wrist, which would corroborate her allegations that her son attacked her by punching her in the face and grabbing her in the wrist and pushing her down. So, Your Honor, we do have concerns here for safety. Unless there is some sort of valid reason for Mr. Coleman not showing up, then it would appear that Mr. Coleman has established that he is a flight risk with a 4-month gap in appearance. So we've been asking for that bond to stay in place.
Thank you.
We can set this matter for bond review hearing, Your Honor.
You don't want me to change the bond?
I would like you to change the bond, but I believe that it might say, must post bond on the register of actions. If you have the ability to change the bond, yes. Our client, this is actually our client. We were having in trouble contacting him at first, but we finally was able to get in touch with him. We have proper contact information for him right now. And if you can change the bond, then we'd like to change the bond to a $500 personal bond. But if we put a tether on my client, there's no way that he's gonna be able to, how his living situation is, there's no way that he's gonna be able to adhere to the rules of that tether. Not because he doesn't want to, but because the difficulties of his living situation, Your Honor.
What? Because why can't he have a tether?
Just having to be at the same house. Right now, it said that he would stay with his sister, but he doesn't have a set address, and that would be the problem.
What's wrong with his sister's address?
We can use his sister's address, but what if he can't get somewhere to charge his tether? Like, it's not like I'm just trying to get him out of having a tether, but what if he can't get somewhere? People have difficulty with these living
His sister
situations.
doesn't have electricity? Does his sister not have electricity?
I'm saying people can't always go to the house all the time.
If they're on house arrest, they're gonna be there all the time. Make this make sense, Mr. Bird. You're telling me he can't have a tether because he can't charge it, but he's gonna live at his sister's house. So unless you tell me his sister doesn't have electricity, make it make sense.
I said he could potentially live at his sister's house. His living situation isn't stable. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Thank you. His bond was set by my colleague at $25,000 personal with no tether. The next date after that hearing was August 7th. He promptly KPS'd on any other dangerous weapon, have no contact with Tara Macon. You will be on a GPS tether on how. No contact with the Margarita Street address either. Court will set bond at $1,000 personal. Next court date will be December 12th, pretrial in front of Judge Garrett here in 30th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
But you didn't understand that, Your Honor?
No, not at all.
We never got an interpreter from it.
Okay, we've got the interpreter here, so if you can put Mr. Ahmed on this camera, and then I can, we can do the women while they interview him.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what? I didn't hear you, officer.
He's on camera 3 when you have him go.
So did he time out, or why'd you let him go?
He's on camera 3.
Oh, okay. Let me bring in camera 3 then. Thank you. My apologies. I didn't understand.
Your Honor, Ms. Jackson said she let her look at the file, but she. That she said.
Okay, thank you. Okay, boom, 3. Okay, here's your breakout.
Should I
Your
join
Honor.
the breakout room, Your Honor?
What's that?
Should I join the breakout room, number 1?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank
Mhm.
Who was that date for Mr. Coleman and who, y'all?
I'm sorry, what?
Who was that date for Mr. Coleman and in front of what judge?
I don't know. You guys, oh, I'm still doing it. It's December 12th, pre-trial in front of Judge Garrett.
He got up and left and then here's.
They'll give it to him on paper.
Your Honor, Mr. Sterling, I just wanted to say, I didn't know that he was on federal supervised release. And I just looked it up. While he did have a case for interference with commerce, he also has a conviction for escape from prison while he was serving that sentence. So he actually, it looks like he does have a conviction for escape from prison after he was sentenced on the escape from interference with commerce. So I just wanted to bring that to the court's attention. I would have brought it up during the hearing if I had known he was on supervised release.
Thank you for that information. Okay, ma'am, at DDC, what's your name, please?
Gabrielle Hurst.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. We're gonna start with some traffic tickets you have where you missed some court dates. When you miss those dates, the judge issued an arrest warrant for you. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, the court will provide one for you. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. First ticket is P 1352243 with a charge of no insurance misdemeanor. P 1352245 driving while license suspended. P 1353132 no insurance misdemeanor driving while license suspended. P 1363645 no insurance misdemeanor driving while license not valid. P 1393292 driving while license suspended, no insurance misdemeanor. P 1417670 driver's license never required, no insurance misdemeanor. P 1434407 driving while license not valid. P 1451951 no insurance misdemeanor driving unregistered vehicle driving while license suspended. These are all misdemeanor charges. Maximum penalty you face on each is up to 93 days in jail and or $500 fine. And I'm going to set aside the arrest warrants, enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, and give you a personal bond. Your next court date is a pre-trial, July 7th, 2025, in front of Judge Millhouse. The other matter with us today is 22-045-589, State of Michigan versus Gabrielle Amanda Hurst, counsels.
Samuel A. Ragnan for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brother Bird, on behalf of Gabrielle Hurst, my client waived her right to the formal rating, was advised to constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
Yeah, I believe there's a $1,000 10% bond for the defendant failure to appear on 5/15/24, but she failed to appear, I think, 6 times in this case. The case is back from 10/24/22. She initially got a personal bond, $100,000. So I'm going to ask that that bond remain in effect for her, Your Honor. It's a serious matter where a person was trying to break up a fight between the defendant and someone else. She got upset. She started punching the person who was intervening. Now the complaining witness pulled the grill off of the top of a grill off and hit around the arm, causing a number of lacerations. And then she also on 6/28/22, prior to this incident, had a charge of unarmed robbery that was 6/28/22 bound over, and then she had a revision type program she was on till 5/24. So serious matter, but she won't show up. She keeps getting personal bonds, and she posted a $10 bond once when she got $100, 10%, and then she forfeited that bond. So I don't think she's going to show up unless the court makes her do so. Thank you.
Thank you.
My client could post $100, even though we're gonna ask her not to, but she can afford the $100. Unfortunately, she just lost her job before being in jail, Your Honor. It indicates to us that she missed court due to multiple family issues, was dead broke, was going through a rough space in life. But is trying to get it together, and she's gonna do everything she can to show up to court. And respectfully, we're gonna have to change it to a personal bond.
Yeah, I failed to mention, I'm also asking for a tether, Your Honor, in this matter, to assure us that she doesn't just post a bond and not show up as she.
If this one to Judge Bryan, I know Judge Bryan doesn't want tethers on our cases. And,
Judge Bryant can remove this tether, but she's gonna show up to Judge Bryant to get that done. Ma'am, you have no contact with Ms. Jackson Neal. You will have a GPS tether, be unrestricted as to time and place. And bond will be $1,000 personal. Next court date is December 12th for pretrial in front of Judge Bryant. Thank you, ma'am. You can step aside.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So 1K personal with the tether?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Any update on the KPS on Ms. Moore?
No, Dave.
On your, Denise called back, she said they're waiting for DPS officer to go to DDC either today
That's
or
wrong.
later to confirm that they have the right person because of the photo discrepancy.
Yeah.
So they waited for the DPS officer to go and verify.
Can he be made to go today? Because if the wrong guy walked himself in, that's
That's
really.
what she was saying, he hasn't detained, she said he walked himself in or.
Yeah. Mr. Bird, you said he turned himself in?
That's what he indicated to me.
All right, well, apparently, DPD is, going to go and take a look at him personally. We're gonna try and get that done today and perhaps get him on the docket this afternoon.
She's on hold.
Okay. Okay, court's gonna take a brief recess to deal with this, identification issue.
Magistrate, if it helps at all, and I apologize, I read over the allegations. If defense counsel wants to waive his presence to speed this up, I'm not gonna be objecting to a personal bond, if that helps this matter.
I don't have a file, so.
Okay.
I don't have a file. Listen, hold on, everyone. Hold on, everyone. I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. So they're going to try to have the DPS officer go confirm the ID hopefully sometime today, and we can get them on the docket this afternoon. That's about all I can do to help you, Mr. Byrd. I understand your concern. I agree with your concern. So we're going to try to get that case moving. Now, ma'am, ma'am at DDC, what's your name, please? Ms. Moore. What's your name for the record, please? DDC, you might be muted.
Say your full name? My name is Aisha Moore, Your Honor.
Thank you. This case 21-058-834, State of Michigan versus Aisha Jernea Moore, counsel.
Magistrate, I'm of the understanding that this is now a misdemeanor. I don't know, just because if Judge Robbins held it in his court that you don't have authority. If I'm correct, then I won't be appearing. But if you do have authority, I will make an appearance.
So I spoke with the chief magistrate on a similar issue last week, and apparently, even though it's been pled down to a misdemeanor, I do not have the authority to change the KPS.
I appreciate you telling me that. So we won't be making an appearance here. Thank you, though.
Okay.
No
Mr.
updates,
Byrd.
Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
No updates.
Okay. Is anybody working on an update?
At this moment, Your Honor, I have to ask my law partners. But right now, we don't have an update.
To the extent that she fed out on this, and it's just set for a review hearing, I really don't like the idea of holding her, but that's what we've got right now. So ma'am, while this case is pending, you are not possessed of firearm or any other dangerous weapon. Court is going to set bond in accordance with the capias in the file at $1,236 cash for surety. That'll give you a bond review date on Wednesday, December the 4th, in front of Chief Judge McConico. And further dates will be a review date in front of Judge Robbins on December 9 here in 36th District Court. Thank you. You can step aside.
Thank you, Your Honor.
$1,236 cash or surety.
Mr. Byrd, that's all I have. You guys have a good lunch. I'll see you this afternoon.
Yeah, we just got to do that one male that's being interviewed with the interpreter on the male side.
Copy that. Be back on the outside.
Thanks.